Welcome to Savvy Business, Life Unscripted with your host, Christina Rivera, where our guests share their wisdom and valuable business tips, empowering our audience to expand their personal potential.
Hi, Renaldo Webb. Welcome to Savvy Broadcasting, Life Unscripted. We're so grateful to have you here today. How are you?
No, I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you betcha. I mean, your agent reached out to me, and the name of your company is Pet Plate. And I was really intrigued because my dog, as we spoke before the interview, is getting senior in age, and we want to keep our pups around as long as possible. And you had a wonderful pup yourself, Winston, who helped you get your business up and rolling. And I think that's the picture on a lot of your website, correct? That beautiful.
Yeah. There's still some pictures of him, and we're leaving him a little remembrance since unfortunately he's no longer with us. And we're actually very soon going to be launching a new brand, and depending which kind of look and feel. So depending on when you all listen to this, check out the website. You'll see my new puppy Cooper, who's a little mini Bernie Doodle, who's a ton of energy. Great. He's been keeping me on my toes throughout this entire pandemic, which has been fun.
Yeah, well, this will air on October 6th, so it's not too far out there.
But
what's great about it, and we can talk a little bit about that right now since this is post-COVID, at least I hope it is. I hope we're pretty much done with this. But I think dogs have been great for people who have been stuck at home because for me, now I'm with Henry all the time. We get to go for walks in the middle of the day. And it's just been great exercise to keep my mind mentally sound. And, of course, for our dogs to have us around a lot more in our lives.
Mm-hmm. No, and there's a lot of research actually that supports that. I believe Harvard University did a study that shows just having a dog increases human life expectancy by a number of years. I forget exactly how many, but it removes issues, tied to depression, stress, obesity, et cetera, just, all of the engagement you can give your pup. So, at Pet Plate, we're about, giving people back time to spend with their dogs. So, hopefully that's something that our customers have been able to do and experience.
Yeah, I'm hoping. I just told you before the interview that due to my little puppy here, Henry Hobbs, getting senior in age and a little overweight, the vet's like, you have to bring him down at least 2.5 pounds, that we signed up for Pet Plate, and we're hoping to get my little pup here back in shape. But share with the audience, what brought you to creating Pet Plate? How did that come about?
Yeah, so, after college, I was a consultant just working for a variety of different industries, learning about supply chain, marketing, et cetera. Really enjoyed that. And just by happenstance, I spent a lot of time in pet food factories. And this would have been back in, 2012 to 2015 before I started the company. And I just saw all of the ingredients going into the food and just realized there might be a better way to do this. And, when I got my first dog, Winston, that was something that I really believed in, started cooking for him. Knew enough to know I should be working with the vet nutritionist and it needed to be properly balanced, et cetera. And after time on making it, I just realized that there are pet parents all around the country that would want this for their dog. I mean, you just mentioned yourself before the interview that you were cooking for your pup. And that just kind of made, the gears in the mind start turning. And I'd always wanted to start a company. I'd tried a couple of social networking apps previously that didn't kind of go in the direction I wanted. But this was something I felt very passionate about. I thought could solve a real problem. And I kind of just jumped into it in 2016 and I'm just really surprised and very thankful for how things have just developed up until this point.
Yeah, and I'm sure you saved a lot of pet owners during this COVID time who couldn't get out there and get good, healthy food for their pet.
No, of course. I mean, as soon as, things started shutting down in, middle of March or April, depending on where you lived in the country, we saw influxes of orders. And I think we're able to provide people a lot of confidence and also just kind of impress them with what can be delivered to your door. And, there's much more to Pet Plate than just the, the delivery aspect. We personalize the meal. So if you have an overweight dog, right, we can tell you exactly how many calories to feed and pre-portion the meals properly for you. So I think people saw all of that, and it was just an added plus that they didn't have to worry about going to the store. Or if they were going to the store, they could focus on, the few items for themselves they needed to get, as opposed to what's the healthiest dog food I could be feeding out of the limited options in the store.
Yeah, you know what's interesting, Renaldo, because when I had someone on last year, she was a veterinarian, and she just filled me in. That was the first time I heard the disastrous stuff in pet food. I just thought, it must be all safe because they're putting it out there for our animals. And she's like, absolutely not. In fact, some of the most expensive ones have really things that should not be anywhere near for pets. But there's really not a lot of regulations for the pet food.
Yeah, it's regulated by the FDA, and effectively they're able to use food that's not safe for human consumption in dog food, and that's the majority of pet food that's used. So,
Wow.
so any kibble, anything like that you're buying, like the same meat that's in there would not be meat you would eat, and they treat the meat very differently. In fact, most of the protein and the bionutrients comes from synthetic vitamins, etc., versus real food within some of these heavily processed ingredients. Because as I was a consultant, I was there on the factory floor at the extruders, and these are giant machines that are cooking the food to 500, 600 degrees Fahrenheit, etc., and basically churning it out like cereal is kind of the cook process. So the meat that goes in is liquefied and treated in a certain way. It has to be majority carbs because of the cooking process. So there's a lot that I saw and learned that made me realize that not only should, dogs be getting healthier food, but I realized pet parents wanted to feed their dogs healthier food. All the kibble companies were trying to say, this is why my kibble is so great. This is the new stuff I'm adding to it, right? And it's like, oh, well, why can't they just have real food where you don't have to add stuff to it? And that's what we tried to simplify with Pet Plate. And I think people are really resonating with that. And the industry overall has grown pretty dramatically over the past, I guess 4 years that I've been in business.
Yeah, it's interesting. I recall many years ago when I had a German Shepherd growing up that the vet said, absolutely do not feed them people food. And I was like, well, now thinking back, I'm like, well, why not? Because if it's healthy enough for us to eat, why wouldn't it be healthy for our dog? Now, is our dog and pets able to handle like different foods from humans? Like, are there systems?
It needs to be balanced properly. And that's why we work with a veterinary nutritionist at Pet Plate. So, I would never advise someone to go grab some rotisserie chicken and some brown rice and mix it up for their dogs. You need to be very specific to make sure that they're not getting any nutritional deficiencies over time. It has to make sure that it's balanced properly for a dog. Their digestive tract is very different than our digestive tract. They handle fat very differently. So, it's a very careful balance. So we work with one of very, very few boarded veterinary nutritionists in the country, Dr. Renee Streeter. She balances all the meals for us. And then we work with an actual USDA facility that makes human food. They also make Pet Plate for us. And we're able to have very, very strict quality controls there to make sure that the food is safe and consistent and also affordable for people that want, a higher quality option for their dogs.
Now, what have you found from your customers? Has there been an increase for a lot of customers, dogs, pets, lifespan? Have they gotten better from certain things? What have you found? Have you gotten any responses?
Yeah, we get amazing feedback from our customers. Unfortunately, we've been around for about 4 years. We've had some dogs that have been on it for a very long time, and those customers will definitely, pound the table and say the difference that Pet Plate has made for their dogs. But, we constantly reach out to our new customers, get feedback, and typically what we see in about a month, if they're having issues either with itchiness or dry skin, or even, actually in a week or so for dogs that were having digestive issues or picky eaters, our customers are just seeing massive turnarounds in their pet's health, vibrancy and well-being, which just, makes them excited and just allows them to spend more quality time with their pets as opposed to worrying about their pet's health. So it's one of the great things we're able to do at Pet Plate.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? Because our dogs are our family members. And when they're unhealthy, it affects the whole family. We're all worried about our poor little honey, and we'll make sure they're okay.
And I'm sure you've gone to the vet and have gotten the $400, $500 bill just for kind of the checkup that, theoretically maybe could have been avoided. Now, not the case for all issues, but for some, for sure.
Well, I think what we don't realize sometimes, and we forget, we think our pets are so different from us, and that I was surprised to find that pets get everything us older people, humans get, from hip dysplasia to arthritis to cancer.
We have a ton of diabetic dogs on Pet Plate.
Wow.
Right, where their owners are giving them insulin. It's a real thing. And we have specific meals that our pet care specialists will kind of direct them to. So if you're a customer and if you're a potential customer and you're watching this, know we have options for you. But we get down to that level of science with our meals to make sure we cater to a very wide variety of pet health issues and I guess non-issues as well. and ages,
Now,
breeds,
you know
etc.
what's interesting, because my Henry has acid reflux, and he came from the factory, from the pound with kind of
Yeah,
acid
yeah,
reflux, but only like at the change of seasons. So I don't know if it has to do with maybe a lot of
yeah.
in the air or whatever, but he has that issue, and so it's always driving us nuts. Like, do we give him less? What do you call it, gluten or something? So we've
Yeah,
always tried to
yeah.
figure out how to make him feel better in that response. But yeah, I guess for everyone to realize that your pets can get the same things you can.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. And just like us, as I'm sure, like, most people have learned over the past 10, 15 years, you can make healthier decisions to try to help or mitigate that. Food really can be medicine if thought of in the right way. I'm a firm believer in that.
Does this change your life as well? Designing pet play, has this also changed the way you live your life?
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously being an entrepreneur and taking on that responsibility is definitely tough. So that's, definitely changed my life in a lot of ways. But also, yeah, now I'm far more conscious. You can't have your dog eating too much healthier than you, right? It's
Like,
fun.
you better, you're eating better than me here.
Yeah, it's fun. But, it's also kind of, I think, maybe the idea or the impetus for Pet Play just came because I was always try to be reasonably healthy. When I can make a better choice, I'll try to do that. I, try to, go to the gym, when you can, et cetera, et cetera. 2020 has been tough, but, finding ways of working out outside. So just like, the things you want to do for yourself to live a long, healthy life, a lot of those can translate over to your pet.
Yeah, and tell us some of the exciting changes you have. You said you have some exciting changes coming up for Pet Play. What are some of them?
Yeah, we just launched a line of all organic treats, and we're going to be expanding that. So right now there's an organic chicken apple sausage available on the website. One of the few 100% human grade, 100% organic products you can actually buy for your dog. And we're going to be expanding that after a lot of great feedback. We're working on our own supplement line. We get a lot of feedback from our, pet parents that also own cats that, we need to start thinking about a feline line. So we haven't done that yet, but that's something that's in the hopper. So, it's really busy. We're a small team at Pet Plate. Like everyone else, we're kind of now all working remote, but originally we were working out of New York City. So we're all kind of still working together and trying to grow the business under, difficult times. But luckily, the boom in e-commerce, the increased focus on like pet and the humanization of pets trend has really helped drive the business to the next level.
Absolutely. Now, share for me, for my own personal understanding, is feline very different in their diet from dogs? I thought they were both kind of carnivores. Are they or not?
Well, so cats are, I believe the term is obligatory carnivore. So they literally have to eat like a very, very high protein diet. Dogs are actually more like, herbivores, and they can eat a mixture. Pet Plate's meals are very much high in protein, very high in digestible protein.
Got it.
But cats, I think, even more so. So that's a little bit of a different thing. Obviously, they're smaller, so the portion size is a little bit different, and they metabolize energy a little bit differently, particularly on like amino acid level. So there's some science there, but we rely on our vet nutritionists to kind of help us navigate all of these waters and make sure we're doing right by like all of our pet parent customers.
Well, it's really exciting. I went to the website.
Yeah.
I signed up, as I told you before the interview, for my Henry Hobbs. So
Yeah.
share the process for people, because I've already done it, but share how the process, when they go to your website, how they get set up, what's it look like?
Yeah, so we personalize every meal plan for all of our customers. And, so very, very different experience. If you would go on like a normal website, you just buy a random bag of dog food and you hope you would know how much to feed your dog, or hope you would know that this is a flavor your dog would love, etc. At Pet Plate, we ask a series of couple questions. And then based off of that, we tell you, here's a perfect meal plan for your pet. So we learn your dog's breed, age, body condition, activity level. We ask kind of their flavor preferences. And then we tell you, your dog needs 1,000 calories a day, right? So that means feed half of this container or one of this container per meal. So it's really laid out for you in a very clear way. And then the box ships and is delivered directly to your door. And you can put it in the refrigerator to thaw, and then it's ready to serve.
Yeah, and it comes, well, I think mine's coming for like a 21-day period. Is it different time periods for different?
Yeah. So for big dogs, you'll probably get a week. For small dogs, you'll get closer to a month. So, we try to optimize what we send to you to minimize the amount of packaging that needs to be shipped. We focus very heavily on sustainability. Our boxes are made out of, recycled paper. Our liners are made out of recycled material as well, either paper or recycled plastic bottles that you can re-recycle. And then all of the containers that we ship the meals in are recyclable as well.
That's awesome. Well, Renaldo, I am so grateful to you and your team at Pet Plate for creating Pet Plate and an option for very stressed out moms right now.
Yes, exactly.
They're little, they're yum yums and dads. Because
Yes.
you might not be a woman, you might be a guy who have a wonderful pet in your house. So
You might. We're equal opportunity with our pet parents, as we would say.
Well, thank you so much, Renaldo, for all the wonderful work you're doing at Pet Plate. And they can go to petplate.com, correct?
Yes, you can go to petplate.com and give us a try.
Yeah, absolutely. I
Awesome.
can't wait to try it. I signed up this week. It should hopefully show this week, and then my dog will let us know how he loves it. I'm sure he will love it. So
Yeah, definitely send me any feedback. I'm looking forward to hearing what Henry has to say about it. So don't hesitate to reach out. So thank you so much for having me today.
You betcha, Renaldo. Take care, and thank you so much. If you like this episode, please share. To hear more savvy episodes and savvy biz tips, go to lifeunscriptedradio.com. To become a guest or participate in paid sponsorship, email us at Christina@lifeunscriptedradio.com.